What's going on, Red Nation? We've got the 2025, most of it, 2025 2026 NBA schedule, and we're going to go ahead and talk about it. Also, could the WNBA be returning to Houston? I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago, and it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of interest, but there's a story picking up, and whether you care or not, the WNBA could be trying to force itself back to H-Town. We're going to talk about that, and we're also going to get into the 90s for real. With our Rockets history, my name is David Delano. Welcome to another episode of Rockets Daily, brought to you by Fan Arch. No matter where you are in the world, thank you. Welcome. Go ahead and subscribe. Thanks so much rocking with us here in the dog days of August, but we got the schedule released, so not completely a dog day. You may be in Texans mode or Cowboys mode or whoever your favorite NBA team is, Rockets or Premier Soccer League. A lot of overseas fans. Whatever your thing is outside of basketball, cricket, we're all here to talk about the Rockets. Whether you're a follower, hater, whatever, feel free to leave a comment. Go ahead and subscribe, and appreciate it. I was actually cheering against the Rockets the other day. No, it wasn't the Houston Rockets, but my son's first time playing organized basketball. Now 7 years old, 4-team league, had the Rockets, the Mavs, the Lakers, and the Spurs. His team randomly selected was the Mavs, and they got beat in the playoff tournament by the Rockets. So Rockets are going to play the Lakers for the championship on Saturday. He wants me to coach next time around. We'll see. Add that to the list of things that I love that are not about not about the money. Somebody making a lot of money though, the Houston Rockets and the NBA in general. And we've got the 2025 NBA schedule released. And I went through the schedule a few different times, probably more than I needed to. Went through this schedule, picked out where I thought the wins were, where the losses were, ran some models, some nerdy simulations, and things like that. To kind of see how many wins I see on this Rockets schedule. A couple things jump out. We've talked about this on the prior episodes, and I invite you to go ahead and watch those, even if you didn't watch it this yesterday or earlier this week. As we're in the off season, a lot of the information in those episodes is still relevant and not really dated at the moment. But we talked about the Rockets opening up the season on October 21st at Oklahoma City. NBA on NBC returns. Kevin Durant's going to be there to see Oklahoma City lift up their first ever championship banner. I guess you could say, Oklahoma City used to be the Sonics. The Sonics had one. But in Oklahoma City, first championship banner. And, Rockets, a 6.5 point underdog right now. Yes. Those lines are already out. We'll see how much it changes. Right now, the Rockets are a 6.5 point dog. Road dog in that game, and the total's at 224 points. Rockets are going to go after that. They're going to play 2 home games. October 24th against the Detroit Pistons and then the Brooklyn Nets. Detroit's going to be tough, but I have both of those as wins on the schedule. Then they go to Toronto on the road, Boston on the road, and Dallas at home, going on the road to Memphis before opening up the NBA Cup, which we talked about on the previous episodes against the Spurs. So that's just the beginning from first couple weeks of the season. And I may have given the Rockets a little too, let's see if I've given them a little bit too much credit. I've had 2 losses in that opening stretch. And I've got them opening up at 5-2. We'll look at that. I do actually have them winning a game at the Spurs. That should be tough. So I actually have a 6-2 start for the Rockets, and we'll talk about it because those lines are out there. Looking at the over-under season win totals now released for all the NBA teams. Only teams with higher posted win totals are the Oklahoma City Thunder and Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, these are according to the different lines. I'm looking at FanDuel, and DraftKings has the same total. Most of these sports books have the same total. They've got the Rockets over-under win total at 55 and a half, minus 112 to the over, minus 118 to the under, which means that if you're not into how these odds are, they're saying it's a slightly higher chance of the Rockets winning less than 55 and a half games, slightly Doesn't mean that they won't win the championship. Doesn't mean I'm not rooting for the team. But I went through the schedule, ran a couple different things that I looked at before even looking at that season win total, although I had a good idea what it was going to be. I mean, I saw leading up, some places had it at 54.5 before the schedule was released. I've got the Rockets. Now, granted, this schedule has 80 games on it. There's 2 more games that will be determined based on the results of the NBA Cup. So there's 80 games on this schedule. Not the full 82 just yet, just due to the way that the NBA Cup works out. I've got the Rockets going 53-29. I could possibly see, 52 wins, 52 to 54 wins. Point being, do I see 56 wins? It's possible, but I got to go with the under win total, under 56 for the regular season for the Houston Rockets is my prediction right now as of mid-August. And when you look at this schedule, I mean, a few different things. Even if you look at the last 5 games, which if you're someone who's going to, bet on the total for wins, a lot of these numbers, they're sharp, they're tight. Last 5 games at Golden State, at Phoenix, and then home against Philadelphia, Minnesota, and Memphis. And just looking way, way far ahead, the way that the seasons have been positioning that game at Golden State could be a game that means more to the Warriors than the Rockets when you look for fighting for playoff position. Also, when you start talking about playing position, we're hoping it means more to Phoenix than the Rockets. Once we get all the way to April 7th, hoping that our the Houston Rockets playoff position is secure. And then the last 3 games at home, Philadelphia, Minnesota, and Memphis. Those could be throwaway games, could definitely mean more to Philadelphia, Minnesota, and Memphis. Philadelphia being in a much weaker Eastern Conference. So I've got the Rockets. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to predict 53 wins. We're going to go 53 wins, 29 losses. I see 52 to 54 wins. I don't think it's going to be 56 wins. Last year you got 51 wins and still got second seed in the Western Conference. Then you had a few different teams there at 50. So I think 56 wins is going to be a lot in the West for anyone. So next week there's going to be a lot of different ways to look at this schedule. And I'll be honest with you guys, we're going to have a lot to talk about next week and a lot of ways to break down the schedule. I haven't fully decided how I'm going to do it yet as far as if we're going to go through this, game by game sections, whatnot. Definitely want to keep it interesting. Not stale, and of course, still a lot of time to go. We'll point out some definitely some different key points on the schedule. Now, the WNBA, this is a fascinating story. We talked a couple weeks ago about do you want the WNBA back? Cleveland, Detroit, Philadelphia are going to be getting teams, and we're talking about the Houston's bid for a WNBA team came pretty much far under those other franchises. So the way things were looking, it looked like Houston could maybe make a bid for something beyond 2030, but not in the immediate future. Well, it could be a lot sooner than that. And this is a real story. Saw yesterday getting some traction. Shortly after the WNBA schedule dropped, so we're seeing this getting some traction on Thursday night. And it's about the Connecticut Sun, who are for sale. And it looks like there's going to get into all the technicalities. I'm going to kind of paraphrase a little bit here. But I've been seeing reports that there's a pretty strong bid from someone who wants to keep the team actually in Connecticut. And also some strong interest on some owners that want want the team to move, not stay in Connecticut, but go to Boston, still be in the Northeast. And despite, it looks like the WNBA could make a sale for this team to stay in Connecticut or even go to Boston. So they're trying to force the team to Houston, really looking to some different investors for Houston, trying to get looks like the Fertitta family to get to the Rockets, to get the Sun to come to Houston, where they changed their name back to the Comets. And If the WNBA comes back to Houston, is this something that I would support? Yes. Is it would I like to attend some games or plan to attend some games? Yes. We're gonna take the Houston hat off. We're gonna take the politically correct hat off. We're gonna be pretty objective here as far as Connecticut, Boston, Houston. What do I think is a better fit for the WNBA? And we can see right now with the bids for Boston, the interest in coming, staying in Connecticut, seem to be more prominent, more dominant than the interest in bringing this team back to Houston, right? It looks like Houston had a little bit of a low ball offer compared to Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. I know that we don't have everybody watching this channel, but from those of you who do, and I definitely appreciate it, and I really appreciate those who've chimed in. It doesn't seem like the interest for the WNBA is here. I mean, you mentioned won 4 straight championships when the WNBA started, and ended up eventually losing the team 7 out of the first 9 seasons. Well, 7 out of the 9 seasons for the Comets were winning seasons, winning records with 4 championships in the city of Houston. I know we're in a different time, but do I think Houston would support the WNBA better than Connecticut or better than Boston? You can prove me wrong, H-Town, but I don't think so. I think Houston would do well with the show if going up. If it's a championship and we're going up against Caitlin Clark and the Fever in the playoffs or in the finals and all of that stuff. But as far as just day to day, I mean, look at how bad the Connecticut Sun are. I don't know. Now, there's a lot of when you want to talk about women's basketball talent, man, there's a lot of talented women in basketball in the Houston area. High school players, college players, great coaches, great legends. So I think the community, if you could give it a local feel there, I think that'd be great. But a lot of times, I mean, the WNBA doesn't have anything to do with where players are from as far as being a part of the team. But it's definitely a story. The WNBA seems to have a little bit of a bias for wanting the team to come back to Houston. And as we continue with our Rockets history here, let's get into this 1990-1991 NBA season, man. The Western Conference has been, we'll see. I think a lot more, balanced now, but the Western Conference was a beast during these years. Rockets went 52-30. And we're kind of, expecting, I said 53-29, my prediction for this upcoming season. Only got the Rockets the 6th seed this year. You had the Portland Trailblazers who went 63-19. You had the San Antonio Spurs who went 55-27. Things were a little bit different because the Lakers had the second best record in the conference, but ended up with the 3rd seed due to the division winner, San Antonio Spurs, getting a higher seed. So Lakers won 58 games. Suns won 54. Jazz won 54. Rockets won 52. Pretty substantial drop off after that. So the Rockets' reward was to play the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round of the playoffs, and unfortunately it did not go well. First round ended in a 3-0 sweep despite some very competitive games. First game, Rockets lost by 2, 94-92. Second game on the road, lost 109-98. Vernon Maxwell had 31 points to lead the team in that second game. Otis Thorpe and Elijah Wan led the team with 21 points in the second game. Elijah Wan led the team in rebounds every single game. 16, 11, and 17 respectfully in those 3 games rebound-wise, along with 22 points in game 1. But the Rockets got swept, so that was a big disappointment. Elijah Wan, fewest games he had played so far, only played 56 of the 82 games. Averaged 21.2 points per game, 13.8 rebounds. Otis Thorpe, 17.5 points per game, 10.3 rebounds. Sleepy Floyd played in all 82 games, but only started in 4 of them, 12.3 points per game. Mentioned Vernon Maxwell had a Career year up to that point, 17 points per game for Vernon Maxwell. Shot 33.7% from three-point range. And, was starting to, things gradually changing as far as the three-pointers early in the 80s almost just being something that was not utilized at all. And as we start to get even more into the early 90s, Rockets started to, nowhere near the way they're shooting threes now, but kind of started to revolutionize three-pointers being shot more. And this 1991 season, this was the year that the Bulls won their first championship, defeating the Lakers in the NBA Finals. Something interesting to me, though, as we talk about three-point shooting, we talked about that 1980-81 season where the Rockets, despite a losing regular season record, went all the way to the NBA Finals. And the Rockets that particular season were 17th in three-point shooting attempts per game. We're not talking made threes. We're not talking percentage. We're talking just three-point attempts per game. They only made 17.8%. Rockets attempted. Now, this is 1980-81. Went to the NBA Finals that year, attempting 1.4 threes per game. Attempting. Number one in 1980-81 season, San Diego Clippers. If you're just listening to this or you're driving on the road, think for a minute. 1980 to 81. What was the most three-point attempts per game average that led the league that year? San Diego Clippers. 5 a game. That was number one. The Cleveland Cavaliers were a distant second, attempting 3 a game. So now we look 10 years later. We look at the 1990-1991 season. The Rockets were second. Shot the second most threes in the NBA that season. Guess how much the leader attempted per game? It was the Denver Nuggets. 1990-91 now. 10 years later. 12.9 threes attempted per game. So in 81, 5 threes a game was the most the team shot. In 91, 12.9 threes attempted per game. Not made. The Rockets were second. 12.1 threes attempted per game that season. However, what's very interesting is the Chicago Bulls won the World Championship that year. They were 21st, only attempting 5.2 threes per game, so it was not really that direct correlation between shooting threes and winning, as the Chicago Bulls won without shooting many threes at all. But the Rockets were second in the NBA in attempts, 13th in three-point percentage at 32%, and it's just something fun to talk about as we talk about the evolution of the three-point line in basketball, especially where we are now and where we were 10 years ago versus where we'll even be 10 years from now. And if you're wondering why am I going down the rabbit hole here talking about three-point shooting as so much, well, this was the year Vernon Maxwell actually led the NBA, 1990-1991. We'll talk about 91-92 on Monday, but Vernon Maxwell actually led the NBA and made threes, 172 this season, and he would make the next season. He also led the NBA, making 162. He took 510 attempts in the 90-91 season, and really, this is the first time in Rockets history that a Rocket led the NBA in made threes. So it definitely was a change, a big change as far as when it came to, Vernon being one of the early guys to pull the three. And these 2 years that he led, and it's going to get down to history, but then there's some more familiar names outside of the Rockets, I should say. Dan Marley, Reggie Miller, John Starks, Dennis Scott, Reggie Miller. A lot of guys who are going to end up leading the NBA in three-point shooting going forward beyond this 90-91 and 91-92 season. So really in Mad Max's career, this was huge. Attempting 510 threes. And just to really kind of put that into perspective, he played in all 82 games. These were his three-point attempts by season. Came in the league 88-89, 129, 105, 52, 53. then jumps all the way up to 510 threes. So really one of the first guys to just really start attempting that many threes, and it really was revolutionary. And as we're kind of looking through the history as basketball would evolve, I'm going to have a guy back then attempting more than 6 threes a game. It was wild. And he had never attempted, more than, never even attempted 3 in a game for an average before. So, big year in the history of NBA with Vernon Maxwell, even when it comes to the game evolving 3-point shooting wise. And strong regular season for the Rockets, ran into a legendary Lakers team that would lose to an even more legendary Bulls team in the finals that year. So went on a little bit on some topics, but a prediction for today, let me know what you guys think. Over or under for the Rockets season win total? 55.5. I got to say objectively, I'm going to go under 55.5. Doesn't mean, the regular season win total in the Rockets championship seasons, you had a 58 win season and a 45 win season. So it doesn't matter too much. But predictions for today, we're going to say under 55.5 wins. Chime in on what you think about the NBA trying to force the Sun from Connecticut into Houston and anything history-wise. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and subscribe. I will see you guys Monday and much further beyond that. This has been Rockets Daily. I'm David Delano. God bless. It's raining out here in Houston. Be careful on those streets.